The government is spending a lot of time lately talking about anti-gun legislation and the constitutional rights of the people in this country. Downtown Martinsburg, West Virginia is no exception, and they had two groups of people meeting down there to express their opinions and points of view. We're going to cut to that in just a moment and show you what they had to say. At the end of the first section, Delegate Overington had a few words to say for us, and I appreciate him coming on camera.
About 3 weeks ago, standing at this podium outside of Congresswoman Shelley Moore Capito's office, I made a statement that I feel like I may need to retract. I mentioned to the folks standing there that they were in the safest place in Martinsburg. It's clear to me today that I was wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, you are indeed standing in the safest place in Martinsburg. I'm Art Tom. I'm the Vice President of the West Virginia Citizens Defense League. We are West Virginia's largest state-level pro-gun lobbying group. The board of directors, the officers, Keith and myself, we are 100% volunteer, just like you. We receive no payment and would accept no payment. I mention this because in recent events, people have said that all the lobbyists are out to do is get paid for the actions and get paid from the causes that they're supporting, and that they really don't care about it. Any of you that know me know that that's simply untrue. The recent events in Newtown, Connecticut were extremely tragic. Politicians quickly came out against our rights under the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. The WVCDL, as well as pro-gun lobbying groups across the nation, swiftly responded. Senator Joe Manchin said that he wanted to have a conversation, and that's it. We had that conversation. I can assure you, and what Keith will explain to you a little bit later on, for all of us, it did not go well. We came out today, looks like hundreds. Look around. Black, white, man, woman, children. Democrats, Republicans, independents, liberals, conservatives. Hell, I think we even have a feminist in the crowd somewhere.
Standing behind you.
Yeah. And I appreciate every one of you. That you guys took your time, either away from your family or with your family, to stand for your rights and send a clear message to Charleston, to Washington, D.C., and to politicians across the country that an infringement upon our rights will absolutely not be tolerated. I'd like you to notice, standing behind me are some politicians that are in support of us, that came out to make a clear message themselves, that they support the Second Amendment rights, that they support your rights. They too agree that an infringement will not be tolerated. The West Virginia Citizens Defense League has already started working with these politicians as well as others from around the state to develop legislation that will stop this madness. Guns do not kill people. I've said it in 50 of my classes, and I'll say it in 100 more. If I set a loaded firearm down on a table and I leave it there for 100 years when somebody comes for it, it'll still be there. And it will have not hurt a soul.
That's right.
The fact that somebody, one person, that's mentally incompetent to be able to handle themselves, cannot handle a tool, should not directly reflect on my ability. My will use the same tool.
Yes.
To create legislation that limits me because of that fact is absurd.
Yes.
To take a situation where you have the restriction or the outright ban on manufacturing of certain product because of its cosmetic differences is dangerous.
Here comes the law, man.
Thanks a lot. Hey, appreciate that. There you go. I'd encourage everybody
Don't let them on.
to go to wvcdl.org, our Facebook page. Reach out. Call your legislators. Call Joe Manchin. Tell him that your message is clear. This will not be tolerated. Period. Folks, I'm going to turn the mic over to people that actually have a little bit more of a difference to be able to help us here. And John Overington, you want to start it out?
Sure. It's the area behind the podium clear. It's great to be here. It's great to see so many people here. Let me tell you, first of all, if you're not a member of the West Virginia Citizens Defense League, you need to join. And you can get information about joining here. Our Second Amendment rights are under assault. We are just one Supreme Court justice away from having major restrictions. What is scary is how some of the decisions, both the Heller decision and the Chicago decision, where our rights were upheld on a 5-4 margin. One more vote switch by Obama and by our Senate, and we lose some of those rights. So it's great to see so many people here. I'm a believer that the First Amendment is defended by the Second Amendment. And those two are extremely critical and extremely important. We somehow think that in a civilized nation that those rights will always be protected. All we have to do is to go to places to remember in Germany how they had some of the greatest thinkers in the world, and that civilization, that country was changed because guns were taken away. People's ability to defend themselves were taken away. So make sure that you are active in the political process, that you register to vote, that you express your views. It's great to see so many people here. Appreciate Keith coming all the way from Charleston to be here to help with this group.
Right on.
Well, hello, defenders of the Second Amendment. Well, thank you for coming out today. I'm Delegate Eric Householder, and I want you to know that several of us have your back in Charleston. Okay? We are going to be fighting the progressive, anti-gun legislation every step of the way. And I also want you to know, earlier this week, the CDL had a meeting with Senator Manchin. And obviously, we know Senator Manchin's confused when he believes the Second Amendment was only for, what did he say? Hunting or recreational shooting. We need to send a message to Senator Manchin what the Second Amendment is truly about. Now, our numbers are increasing in the House of Delegates in West Virginia, but rest assured, like I said, we will do everything we can to stop the progressive agenda that is taking away, that's infringing upon our Second Amendment right.
Yes.
So if you have any questions, call me, call any of us back here, and we'll help you out. And let's see you down here in Charleston this year. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
my voice starts cracking, it's because I'm getting a cold. I'm Mike Folk, and it's great that everybody's out here exercising their First Amendment right in defense of your Second Amendment rights, and soon, hopefully in Charleston, we'll exercise our 10th Amendment rights.
Yeah, all right.
Because as you maybe are well aware, several states throughout the country have already introduced, and some of them have already passed, nullification bills in defense of our Second Amendment rights.
Go Texas.
Yeah, that's where I just came from, Texas. I was in a simulator last night until 1 a.m. Caught a 7:30 flight, got here at Dulles at 11:30, and tried to make it up here. You know, the biggest thing that I tell people, because everybody talks about it, is educate yourself. There's so many examples, and a couple of them I put out the other day. If you haven't heard of Dr. Susan Gracia, it's really important that if you know how to use Google, you Google that name. She was a survivor of the Luby's Cafeteria Massacre in 1991. At the time, it was the biggest mass killing in U.S. history. 50 people were shot when a guy driving a pickup truck drove through a cafeteria's front window and proceeded to shoot everybody, including her mother and father, who had been married for 47 years. And she was very remorseful in the fact that prior to that shooting, Texas had recently passed the law that prevented her from carrying, made her a felon if she would be caught with a pistol in her pocketbook. So that she had started to leave it in her car. And that day she didn't have anything to defend herself. So gun laws have unintended consequences. We should not be making regular citizens criminals through the process of passing gun laws.
Amen.
And then to the big issue of the day, which is everybody talking about high-capacity magazines and so-called assault rifles, depending on how you define that. I think most people, if they are familiar with history, they will realize that during the LA riots, and you do a little research, you'll find that there were a lot of shop owners in Koreatown when the police left town and basically it got too dangerous for even the police to be around. Those guys took to the rooftops with so-called assault rifles and high magazine clips or high-capacity magazines and defended their property and their person. So there is a legitimate use for weapons in today's society, but only when needed. I appreciate everybody coming out today, and it's a great day to be here because the weather was great. And y'all have a great weekend.
Can you guys hear me in the back? Well, I'm going to scream my lungs out for you back here. We could spend hours out here talking about what is going wrong in this country. I'm here to tell you one thing, and that is I'm sick and tired of our citizens being treated like criminals and criminals being treated like citizens. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Keith.
My name's Keith Morgan. Glad to see you guys out here. Now, I normally speak off the cuff. Some of you may have seen an example of that here recently.
Only 150,000 of us.
But today I've actually made some points. I think there's a lot of important stuff I want to go over. And if I try and wing this, I'm going to wind up forgetting something. So I want to thank you. I want to tell you guys, though, something that some of you probably not going to find pleasant. I'm all about the truth wherever I can find it. And there's a facet of who we are out here that I want everybody to understand. We are Republicans. We are Democrats. We are independents. We are libertarians. This is a nonpartisan issue. It is a bipartisan issue. It is not about party at all. It's about liberty. Now let me tell you what I see from right here on this podium. I look out and I see several hundred patriots
and party is not a part of that. I'm going to tell you something else about West Virginians. Long memories. Long memories come with being a West Virginian. We are just now starting to see a change in West Virginia politics that goes back 80 to 90 years. It's taken us that long to forgive the mining companies from machine gunning our granddaddies from trains.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got somebody else to remember today. One of his offices is right over there in that building. That'd be Senator Joe Manchin. We're not going to forget him either. I'll tell you what, I hope he's comfortable in Washington, D.C., because I don't think he's going to be welcome here anymore. I got to tell you, you guys, WVCDL, all the folks, all the different groups that have come out here to support the WVCDL, you guys, you're the ones making the difference. You're the ones that are out here. You're not back on the couch. You're not watching the game. You're not sitting in front of that idiot box, losing brain cells, getting dumb. So I want you guys to give yourselves a round of applause for being out here on a Saturday, taking your time to stand up for your rights. So we're not going to forget Manchin. But I got to tell you, as far as activism goes, I don't think he matters anymore. I think he's sold us out. He's going to get his 30 pieces of silver. I don't think we'll see him run in West Virginia again.
I don't think so.
Wasting his money if he does.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we've got, our mission is never again Manchin or anybody else who would do that to us. Never again. We do have more work to do, though. We got a legislative session coming up here in West Virginia. We got to make sure there are no more stupid, worthless anti-gun laws that regulate a tool instead of evil.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What we need is more liberty and more freedom, and in a state that recognizes our God-given right to self-defense. Right now, we don't need your money. The WVCDL is not asking for your money. We may soon. If we do, we'll have a good reason. But right now, we're not asking for funds. What we're asking for is what you see all around you.
Right on.
We want your presence. We want your voices. We want your phone calls to legislators. We want your emails. We want your letters.
You got it, babe.
That is what we need, not money. Now, I will tell you, all you guys that are out here, everybody out here is sending a message to three people where it matters. I got to tell you, I know we don't have the executive. We might not have the Senate, and I'm talking at the national level. We might not have the Senate. The House of Representatives is our last holdout. And I'm going to tell you right now that you guys are sending messages right now by being here today. You're sending a message to Capito, to Ray Hall, to McKinley. You're getting that message to them. This will be a protest outside their offices if they betray us. We will be there. We've got to get a message out to the Democratic leadership in West Virginia. We're a nonpartisan organization. There are Democrats among us. There are independents among us. They are here. I talk to them every day. And they are not responding to our wishes. The Democratic leadership in our state is ignoring us. We have got to put a stop to that now. In Charleston, that change started December 22nd. We got some voices out there on a cold day, 20 degrees colder than this, just a few days before Christmas out in Charleston. Well, we issued a challenge. Can we get more people in Martinsburg? Yeah, we can. So I'm going to ask you guys to use your power, your strength in numbers. You need to call the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives down in Charleston. You need to put the heat on. Let him hear your voice. If you're willing to come out here and stand in the wind and the cold, surely you're willing to make a phone call. So we got to do that. So you guys are patriots. You're defending liberty right now. Of those 3 boxes, we're using the first 2. We're using the soap box and the ballot box. So we don't have to go to the cartridge box. So thank you. Thank you, you guys are patriots. Now, it's my understanding that there's a gun show going on down in Ranson right now, and I believe that's where I'm headed here shortly. So if any of you guys are going down there, I'll see you there. Thank you so much for coming out today.
Weapons of mass destruction.
It's there tomorrow, too. Gun show
I'll tell you what he just said about calling your representative. They need to call down to D.C., and I did it the other day, called Joe Manchin. I told him, I said, anybody can get away with it. 2 people can do that. But 2 things Joe Manchin's not. He's not Jesus Christ, and he's not Robert Seaberg. Folks, that goes ahead and cuts our time today. Again, I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate you coming out in unity. Again, to send the clear message to Charleston, to D.C., and to every other politician across the country that this will not be tolerated. Have a great day.
We just had a great rally in downtown Martinsburg for the Second Amendment. A lot of people honking their horns, a lot of cars honking their horns, a lot of people excited about defending the Second Amendment. We know that it's under attack in Washington with the Obama administration, and this was sending a clear message that in West Virginia, in Martinsburg, the Eastern Panhandle, that we stand for the Second Amendment. It defends the First Amendment.